Canada just made one of the biggest economic moves in a generation. Prime Minister Mark Carney flew to New Delhi and stood beside Narendra Modi to announce a plan that could push trade between Canada and India to 70 billion by 2030. Now, that's fundamental. It's a dramatic move towards decoupling from anything U.S.A. As Carney has left India now and arrived in Australia, we take a summary of what Mark Carney's visit to India could mean for Canadians. And tonight we break down this story into 4 parts. First, the economic win. Jobs, energy, tech and real money on the table. Second, the strategic shift. Why this is really about reducing our dependence on the United States. Third, the security and sovereignty play. How this protects Canada long term. And fourth, the risk. Because big moves always come with consequences. This one here certainly isn't just another trade deal. This looks like Canada is quietly redrawing its economic map. Let's get right into it. So, as of Carney's departure from India, both countries have signed trade agreements worth about 5.5 billion. But that is just the opening act. The real target is much more substantial, possibly even exceeding 70 billion by the end of this decade. Now, that is massive, my friends. The centerpiece? It is the 2.6 billion uranium supply agreement between Saskatchewan-based Cameco and the Indian government. As I told you yesterday about it, nearly 22 million pounds of uranium will be shipped between 2027 and 2035. What does that mean for Canadians? Well, it means long-term mining jobs in northern Saskatchewan. It means engineers, truck drivers, equipment operators, rail workers. It means stability for an important Canadian sector. But it doesn't stop there. Indian tech giant HCL Technologies is expanding operations in Calgary and Vancouver. Thousands of additional jobs. AI centers where more high-skilled workers stay in Canada. Pharmaceutical investment is flowing into Atlantic Canada and Quebec. There's cooperation in critical minerals. That stuff, that powers electric vehicles, defense system and renewable energy. And yes, agriculture is in the mix too. Pulse, lentils, peas. Saskatchewan farmers are watching this closely. If Indian tariffs come down under the proposed free trade agreement, that's a direct boost to prairie exports. And here's the key. There is a deadline. Both countries are aiming for a comprehensive economic partnership agreement by December 2026. Yes, this year. That's fundamental. That's commitment. That means tariff reductions. That means Canada's easier access to a market of 1.4 billion people. For Canadian businesses to create incentives. A reason to look east, not south. This isn't symbolic, it's structural. Now let's discuss the part no one says out loud. This deal concerns the US. For decades, the US market has been Canada's gravitational center. Most of our exports head south. Our industries are interconnected. Our supply chains are shared. But as we all know, this is already changing. Because Washington has become unpredictable. Under Trump, tariff threats were used as negotiating tools. Trade became leverage. Allies were threatened by competitors. And here's the hard truth. Never mind Trump. No, the US is already prioritizing its own interest more aggressively. And it's intentional. So, what does Canada do? We diversify. Canada made it clear. Canada is all in on reducing reliance on the US to avoid risk. Every seller knows if your biggest customer becomes unstable, you don't fall victim for blackmail, you find alternative buyers, plural. But you just can't replace a massive buyer with a few small ones. It doesn't work that way. That's where India comes in. India is the fastest growing major economy in the world. It has a rising middle class, expanding tech sectors, huge energy demands. Every barrel of uranium sent to India instead of the US means less Canadian vulnerability. Every AI partnership built outside US supply chains reduces Canadian dependency. This is Canada hedging against volatility. And make no mistake, a 70 billion target is not just incremental growth. It's a serious reorientation. Historically, countries diversify when dominant partners weaken or turn inward. It happened after the Second World War when Britain's influence declined and trade partners shifted. Now, as the US debates tariffs, isolation and America first, Canada is not so quietly building trade alternatives. That's not temporary rebellion, that's Canada changing. But there's an additional layer here. This isn't just about trade, it's also about sovereignty. Canada and India agrees to deepen cooperation on law enforcement, including combating transnational crime and addressing fentanyl precursor flow. This represents security collaboration happening directly without intermediary from Washington. Simultaneously, cooperation in defense industries and critical minerals boosts supply chain resilience outside of US-controlled frameworks. Why does this matter? Because trade equals power. If one nation controls access to markets, technologies, or defense material, it widens leverage. Canada is creating redundancy. An important point is that this breakthrough requires domestic cooperation. Conservative and liberal politicians have worked together, including provincial leaders like Saskatchewan Premier Mo, since uranium falls under provincial jurisdiction. Such cross-party alignment doesn't happen by chance. It happens because the stakes are high. Here's another key point. Canada provides something unique globally. We have free trade access to Europe, deep integration with Indo-Pacific partnerships, and links to Mercosur. We are a bridge economy, a bridge to India and other nations. Canada isn't just a resource supplier, it's a gateway. This is significant for Canada. It makes us more attractive to allies. As US trade policies become more unpredictable, it makes even more sense for Canada to strengthen other alliances. This strategy ensures that Canada doesn't become a satellite economy. Now, let's get real here. There's also risk involved. India and Canada experienced serious diplomatic tensions just 2 years ago, with allegations, expelled diplomats, and frozen diplomatic talks. Those underlying political issues haven't simply disappeared. And on top of that, I have no doubts that Washington will retaliate against us if diversification efforts continue. Kushma, anyone? And growing trade from roughly 30 billion to 70 billion in just 6 years is ambitious. Supply chains and infrastructure requires time to develop. So, what are we having here? We are witnessing Canada making a strategic move. Energy contracts secured for years. AI and tech partnerships expanding. Farm exports potentially opening up. Security cooperations broadening. And most importantly, economic influence spreading beyond one nation. That's a mindset shift. For over a century, US has been at the center of Canada's economic universe. Now, Ottawa is quietly saying, trade with everyone else first, and the US only if it makes sense. The question is, will this strengthen Canada and make it more independent? Or does it risk creating tensions with the US? I would like to hear from you. Do you believe Canada should actively diversify as we do? Or do you think we are taking a risk? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you value honest, straightforward analysis from a Canadian perspective, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share this video. Because the next few years could reshape Canada's economic future. And we need to stay paying attention. I'm Wilfried Lemkuller with Europe Curious.